Okay, can you tell me your name and what office you're running for?
My name is Jennifer Moore, and I'm a candidate for the 322nd Family District Court.
Okay, and why are you running for that office?
I'm running for that office because it's time that the families in Tarrant County that are in that court have an opportunity to be heard so that they can tell their story in a place where there is dignity and empathy and patience. I think that I have the temperament to create an environment where families can feel that they're in a safe place to discuss very, very private matters. It's very serious, and people need to feel like they're not inconveniencing the court with their issues. And I do not believe that the current administration of that court has that particular demeanor, and I believe it's time for a change. And I want to bring that to families in Tarrant County.
Okay. And briefly, can you describe your qualifications for the office?
Sure. I am a board-certified family law attorney, and I have opened, right out of law school, I opened my own law practice in Arlington, which is my hometown, and opened those doors in '05, so just about 13 years since I opened that practice. Never worked for anyone, just grassrooted this up and figured it out, and have loved my practice and working in Tarrant County over this time.
What do you believe the proper role of government is?
As little as possible. I mean, I definitely believe in a small government. I'm a very conservative Republican, and to the extent that everyone can, they need to take care of their own business. I think government on a broad spectrum certainly can handle things like infrastructure and roads and those types of things, but getting involved at this micro level is overreaching to me, particularly from a federal government point of view. My job is to follow the laws of the state of Texas, and that's what I intend to do. Black and white, we call it black letter law. That's what I intend to follow. I hope that answers that question.
Okay, and when and for what reason should state or local government be allowed to seize property, private property, under eminent domain?
Well, I don't think that would ever be an issue before me in my court. Eminent domain is not an issue that we would be dealing with. So I wouldn't have an opportunity to rule on that as a family court district judge. And so I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Is Texas in need of civil asset forfeiture reform?
Yes. I would say yes. I'm not as familiar with that issue because, again, that's not something that would come before me in my race or in my court. I'm sorry, in the court, 322nd Family Court. So, I don't feel qualified to necessarily answer that question.
Okay. What is your position on marriage rights?
Can you be more specific?
We kind of just left it open, broad questions, so you can answer it however you read that question.
Well, when I hear that question, the first thing that comes to my mind is same-sex marriage. And I don't know if that's what that question was intended to be, but my personal thoughts are really not relevant on that issue, on same-sex marriage. I got to follow the law, and the Supreme Court of the United States has said that any state constitution that has a provision that same-sex couples cannot marry is unconstitutional. That provision is still in the Texas Constitution, but I am not going to follow unconstitutional laws. And that is a direct edict from the Supreme Court of Texas. In terms of marriage rights, just as a heterosexual couple, I think that we have a great system. I love the community property system. I love the idea that we have a duty to support our spouse and our family and to provide for necessaries. And I think that our current system is better and more fair when cases do end up in a divorce.
Can I follow up on that with the no-fault marriage?
Oh, no-fault marriage. You know, I went to law school in New York, although I am born and raised here. And New York was, at the time that I was in law school, I think only one of 2 states that had, that did not have a no-fault statute. And now the other one went away. New York was the last one. And then since I've been out again, they have removed the requirement for fault in a divorce. So the law is that you are entitled to a no-fault divorce, and that's the law that I will follow, as I should, and I would encourage anybody who's watching this video that thinks that that is not a good idea to talk to their state representative. I know there have been many bills before the legislature here to put some impediments to that, and if those laws were to pass, I would follow those just like I would the ones that are on the books today.
What are the top 3 issues for your campaign?
I think that the top 3 issues, first of all, is gun rights. I think that has been an overarching issue for us, and I have personal experience with my opponent taking guns from a law-abiding citizen with no reason, and with not having the other side even request it, making that a sua sponte, on his own decision to remove all guns from a father and a husband. And I've talked to other people since the story has come out, and it's my understanding that this is a consistent policy that my opponent has. That will not happen in my court, I can assure you. I'm a member of the NRA. I've had the NRA as a client, helping me protect gun rights, and so I would say that's probably the biggest concern that I have for this race. Secondly, I would say is temperament. My opponent, who has been an associate judge for nearly 10 years, I believe, has a very strong reputation of being coarse, impolite, impatient, and very self-important. He loves to lecture both attorneys and clients, and he'll go on and on and on for hours, cut people off when they're trying to speak, make attorneys, he goes out of his way to embarrass attorneys in front of their clients. But most importantly, he demeans the litigants. Now, I've practiced law, family law exclusively, and I've done it in Tarrant County. So I've been in this court probably once a week for the 10 years he's been on the bench. And I'm the one that has to console my client in the hallway and tell them, I am sorry that you feel that he doesn't care about you or your children. That time for that is over. And the colleagues that I've worked with, they all agree. That has got to get different. And I don't know who my associate judge will be, but I promise you it'll be somebody that shares my same sense of dignity, empathy, and downright manners. The third issue I would say that's big in this race would probably be legislating from the bench. Although he claims he does not, I think it kind of goes back to the gun issue, and I've also seen it in other parental rights issues where he has made orders that children can't go to bed without a good dinner. They cannot be punished by withholding dessert. I mean, these are specifically drafted orders by my opponent. And it just absolutely kills me. None of this is requested by the other side, and I don't believe that I can go outside the boundaries of what is in the pleadings requested for by both sides. And I think that his self-importance drives him to believe that he knows best, even if you don't. And I can assure you that will not be the case in my court.
Okay, now kind of on that same line, we've asked several of the family court candidates. There has been an understanding of a possible bias towards women in the family courts in Tarrant County. And would you like to talk about your experience with that and how you would resolve that with being in the best interest of the child?
I'd love to address that question. And I will tell you that 100% there is a bias in favor of women in the 322nd District Court at both the associate level and the district judge. It is a well-known fact, and it is, it's undisputed. You could poll any family law attorney in Tarrant County and they would tell you the exact same thing. What was the second part of what would I do?
How do you resolve that with being in the best interest of the child?
Well, again, it's a complete violation of the laws of the state of Texas. The Texas Family Code specifically states in black letter law that we may not give preference to the sex of the parent. We may not give preference to the marital status of a parent. And so this court routinely violates the laws of the state of Texas. When you're looking at the best interest of a child, you're looking at all kinds of factors. And in my opinion, because I represent men and women, I see great dads, and I see great mothers, and I see bad dads and bad mothers. So there is no way that you could possibly make a stand on that issue, that one sex is favorable over the other. And I would just never allow that to be considered in my court.
And would you like to tell the voters and the board members any last things on your campaign?
Thank you. I would. I want to earn your votes. I want to make you guys proud that you selected me. I want you to see the difference in my warmth and sincerity and my opponent's tiredness, self-importance. I want you to know that this is what you get. I don't change. It's me. I'm not doing this because it's next or because I'm moving up in my career. I'm doing this because I can't sit by and let this court continue down the path it's been going. I ask for your support and welcome any questions that you may have. I have a Facebook page, More for Judge. You can leave a message, leave comments, and I promise you will get responses very timely. Thank you again, and I hope to see you at the polls.